Oh yeah. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be diving into the Warrior pre-raid BIS list with the talent spec and the runes that I'm using for it. So this is going to be for anyone who's trying to play Warrior on day one of Season of Discovery. So without further ado, guys, let's dive in. Alright, so here we are. We have our level 25 warrior. I'm going to show you guys the talent build that we went with first. I think that this build will be giving you the most optimal amount of DPS. You're going to put 5 points into cruelty for that extra 5% chance to crit, 2 points into rend, 3 points into heroic strike, 2 points into improved charge, 3 points in tactical mastery, simply because not really any other place we could put those that would benefit our damage at all. And then 1 point into overpower. With our chest rune, we're using flagellation. Our leg rune, we're using consumed by rage. Our hand rune, we're using single-minded fury. So going back over to our gear. So for our helmet, we're going to be using Humbert's helmet. Humbert's helmet is from Hillsbrad Foothills. It's a world drop. It drops off the rifleman out there, but you're going to see this all over the auction house most likely. If you don't see this all over the auction house, you can try and go for the Spark Metal Cough, which is from the Morbent Fell quest in Duskwood. Might be a little hard, but if you're grouping, it shouldn't be that bad. So I would either go with the Spark Metal Cough or Humbert's helmet if you can pick this up off the auction house. For our neck piece, we're going with the Sentinel's Medallion. This is obtained by Silverwing Sentinel's rep. You have to just get it to Honored. And like you guys know, we're going to be doing a ton of World PvP in Ashenvale and Warsong Gulch, so picking up this neck piece is pretty huge. Next down, we have Bristlebark Amis, which are leather shoulders. Again, another world drop. You might be able to pick these up off the auction house. If you can't, the Glimmering Mail Pauldrons are a close second, and you see them all over the place, but Bristlebark Amis is definitely a little bit better because you're getting 6 agility, 3 strength, so you're getting 2 stats that benefit your damage as opposed to just the 6 strength from the Glimmering Mail Pauldrons. But you can also opt to go for dark leather shoulders if you're going for more crit. There's a bunch of good options for when it comes to shoulders, but the Bristlebark Amis is definitely the highest DPS increase. Now for cape, obviously there's a bunch of capes, but like I said before, I want this pre-BIS list to be as easily obtainable as possible without spending hundreds and hundreds of gold. We can go with the Cape of the Brotherhood from Dead Mines, 6 agility, 3 stamina, which isn't bad. We can go with the 4 strength, 3 stamina Slayer's Cape. We can go with the Parachute Cape from Engineering. And then obviously this stuff is from the Black Fathom Deeps raid, so that won't be on there. But Slayer's Cape is going to be one that's easy to obtain, 4 strength, 3 stamina, and it's actually more DPS than the Cape of the Brotherhood, which is why I have it selected. But if you do get the Cape of the Brotherhood, this is a great pick as well. So for our chest piece, we want to try and go with the Shining Silver Breastplate. It's simply a super strong chest plate, 14 strength, 6 stamina. However, this is a crafted item, and the prices are probably going to be through the roof because everyone's going to realize that it's pre-raid BIS. So your next best chest to use here would be the Mutant Scale Breastplate, which is literally 13 strength, 5 stamina. So you're losing 1 strength, 1 stamina, and this one is a free drop from Wailing Caverns. You have a 23% chance to get it from Mutanus the Devourer. So I would try and farm this out, to be honest. Might not be worth. This is going to be like upwards of like 35 plus gold. It may come down as the phase goes, but for week 1, week 2, Mutant Scale Breastplate is probably your best option. It's free, and you're not really losing much DPS at all. You're losing 1 strength when it comes to DPS. So Mutant Scale Breastplate, probably your better option here. So we'll just select that just so you guys can see it here. And for our wrists, we have the Patterned Bronze Bracers. There's obviously others like the Pugilist Bracers, but these drop from Razorfen Crawl as a BOE. Not sure how many people are going to be running that at level 25, so I wouldn't count on those being there. The Jorgen Bracers, pretty rare again, and these will be really pricey. Obviously, they're very good. But the next ones down here, the Patterned Bronze Bracers, are going to be the easiest ones to obtain, or the Slayer's Cuffs, or the Jurassic Wrist Guards. So for this, we're going to just keep the Patterned Bronze Bracers on there. And then, of course, you can enchant those with 5 strength as well. All this green under the items are all the enchants I have selected for these pieces of gear. And then for weapons. So this might be where you do have to farm a little bit of gold and spend some money. So for our main hand weapon, we're going with Beazle's Basher. This is just a nice 2.5 speed main hand mace, especially if you're human. This is going to be really nice, although it doesn't matter that much at this level. but 6 strength, 2 spirit, 18.4 DPS, 60 top end damage. This is a really nice main hand if you're dual wielding. And then for your offhand, we're going with Head Splitter, 2.3 speed, axe, 3 strength, 5 stamina, 18.9 DPS, 57 top end damage. However, you can also swap these out as well. You can maybe get a Cruel Barb or a Stinging Viper from Wailing Caverns. Cruel Barb is actually a really good main hand, so that's an option for your main hand. It's a 2.8 speed. You're going to want to have a slower weapon in your main hand than your offhand. So these would be the absolute best when it comes to pure damage output, but you can kind of swap this out. Let's say we get a Cruel Barb main hand, and then we go with a Head Splitter offhand or even a Stinging Viper offhand. That would work as well. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be selecting the best in-slot pre-raid damage items that you can get. So over for your gloves, we have the Void Touch leather gloves. So this is a new pair of gloves that is going to be in Season of Discovery, crafted by leather workers. You do have to be a leather worker to use these. So if you're not a leather worker, you cannot use these. So if you are, they're really good. Increase your chance to hit by 1%, and they have an on-use effect that you can pop that gives you 10% attack speed. However, if you're not going leatherworking, the second best set of gloves that you're going to be able to use here would be the Glimmering Mail Gauntlets, and then obviously we want to enchant our gloves with 5 strength. So we'll leave the Void Touch leather gloves up there because that is technically the best damage increase. But again, if you're not a leather worker, go with the Glimmering Mail Gauntlets and enchant them with 5 strength. The damage between these two isn't going to be that different. 10% attack speed is pretty nice, and the 1% hit, especially when you're dual wielding, is really nice. But you can opt to go for either one of these. So for our belts, we're going to Cobran's Grasp. This drops off Lord Cobran in Wailing Caverns, an 18% chance, 8 strength, 3 stamina. Really, really nice belt. If you're having trouble getting this, you can always pick up the Emblazoned Belt off the auction house, 7 strength, 3 stamina. It's a little bit of a DPS loss, but honestly, this one would be so much more easily obtained. So I would probably opt to go for this if you're not farming Wailing Caverns endlessly until you get Cobran's Grasp. So for our legs, we have Glimmering Mail leg guards. You do have the option to get Trip Runner Dungarees, which are a massive DPS increase. However, I don't see anyone completing Rig Wars at level 25. I mean, I'm sure some people will, but it's not going to be that easy. So for most people, Glimmering Mail leg guards would be your pre-raid best in slot gear. With the third in line would be the Chassis of Westfall, 5 stamina, 11 strength. But the Glimmering Mail leg guards are actually a little bit better when it comes to pure damage, simply because you're getting 8 strength, 7 agility, as opposed to just 11 strength when it comes to DPS increases. And now for your boots, obviously the best in slot boots would be the Feet of the Lynx, 8 agility, 3 strength. Problem with this is that these are going to be through the roof expensive. They're going to be pretty much unaffordable to most players, and they're going to be in high demand. So if you can't get your hands on Feet of the Lynx right away, a close second would be the Slayer's Slippers at 6 strength, 4 spirit. So those wouldn't be a bad choice, and then we're going to enchant those with 3 agility. And as for rings, we have Protector's Band from Silverwing Sentinels rep Honored. This is Warsong rep. So make sure you farm this out. This ring is very worth it. 4 strength, 4 agility, 2 stamina. We're going to want that. And then for our second slot, we can go with Silverlane's Family Seal, 7 strength, 3 stam. We can go with a Tiger Band. We can go with Seal of Rin. All good choices. Thunderbrow ring is a BOE. I don't see this that often, but if you do and you can pick it up, this would be your definitely be your best second ring. But if you can't, I would go with probably Silverlane's Family Seal, and then Tiger Band in that exact order. And then as for trinkets, we know that there's not many trinkets in the game right now that are going to increase your DPS at level 25. So if you want to farm out Arena Grandmaster just to have it as a bubble and an extra dodge chance, maybe some jumper cables you could throw in there if you're an engineer. Trinket slots are kind of iffy when it comes to level 25. There's not much that's going to really help your DPS there. And then for our range slot, obviously the Ranger Bow would be the biggest DPS increase, simply because it has that 1 agility, but it is only 1 agility, so don't stress on this too much. Pretty much just pick up any ranged weapon or use throwing weapons, which is what I normally do. But if I can get my hands on the Ranger Bow, that 1 agility would be pretty nice. So that is my pre-raid best in slot list for warriors. Now, if you want to go a 2-handed DPS build, I know most people are like, oh, aren't you going to miss a lot as dual wielding one-handers, blah, blah, blah. Yes, and that's kind of the point that the enemies dodge a lot, and you have this point in improved overpower, so you're basically getting to spam overpower as much as possible. It does work really well. That's how I leveled my hardcore warrior. I leveled from 20 to like 35 dual wielding as arms, and it was absolutely broken because you don't have hit rating. Enemies are dodging a lot. Yes, you do miss, but they're dodging a lot, and you're able to basically spam overpower 3-4 times in one fight with a mob. And by that time, they're usually dead, so it's pretty good. But if you do want to go a two-hander build, what we're going to do here is go back to our talents, and the only things we're really going to change here are some of our runes. We're going to be going with Frenzied Assault instead of Consumed by Rage. When wielding two-handed weapons, your attack speed is increased by 20%. And then we're obviously going to take off Single-Minded Fury, and right here, what I would be doing is putting on Endless Rage to help us generate a lot more rage. So Flagellation, Frenzied Assault, Endless Rage. Talents stay the same. And then for our weapons, we're going to come over to two-handers. And the Gizmotron Mega Chopper is a BOE. Going to be really expensive because it's 14 strength, 5 agility. There's simply no better two-hander at this level. But then there's plenty of others that you can use as well. Like if you can manage to do the Wetlands quest, you have it available to you to defeat Necrosh, but it's going to be pretty hard. I think he's like level 30 or 32. To get the Ancient War Sword, you can buy a Blood Pike, or simply Smite's Mighty Hammer will still do a ton of damage. But the absolute best in-slot weapon would be Gizmotron's Mega Chopper. But for me, I'm going to be playing Dual Wield Fury, Dual Wield Arms, because I'm telling you guys, it's absolutely broken, and you are going to wish that you were playing it. So yeah, this is my pre-raid best in slot list for DPSing on warriors. If you want to tank on a warrior, let's say you want a shield, I don't know if you're going to be going prot really in this raid. If you are, I do have a build on that I put on the channel, but what we would pretty much do here is swap out our main hand to something like the Prison Shank. Yeah, so our main hand would be Prison Shank, and then our offhand, can we search shields here? Yeah, there we go. So we would put our main hand as Prison Shank, and then obviously Shield of Thorson's really good, but there's a ton of good shields here. There's one from Duskwood that's really good. I think it's like Crest of Darkshire or something like that. Let's see, of Darkshire. Yeah, there we go. So that's from the quest in Duskwood. This would probably be one of the best shields that you can use with the Prison Shank in your main hand because it's super fast, so you'll be generating threat a lot. But I can't see this really being a thing unless these raids are tuned to a point where you're getting super crushed. So if they are, and you need a shield and a one-hander, this would be your best in slot. But otherwise, this is going to be your DPS build right here. And then obviously, we're going to throw in the Silverwing Battle Tabard so that we look awesome. But yeah, guys, so that is my pre-raid best in slot list for warriors. This is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to dive in and test all this stuff out. I will be doing phase 1 BIS list guides, like the best gear after you're in the raid and all that stuff, so stay tuned for that. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It really does help me out. Drop some comments down below. Let me know what you think. If you have nothing to say at all, drop an emoji. It helps me out with the algorithm. And if you guys want to hang out with me live, I do stream on Twitch Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll drop a link to that in the description below this video, and I'll also link this build down below as well. But yeah, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next time I post a video. We're covering Season of Discovery all the way through until the end of the season, and then whatever the next season is, we'll be covering that too. So anyways, guys, that's all from me. Thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.